I want to talk about new employee training using the control panel and management review, because I think it has ties to account administration and user access that we talked about over here. And it also kind of sets up what we're going to do next week, which is the whole session being about the control panel and management review. So new employee training is really easy and great to do inside of TouchStone. When people ask me, well, at the end of the day, what am I going to use TouchStone for? There's so many answers to that, but I think it's a fair question when you're new to TouchStone. Well, after I do all this work, well, then what value does it have, or how am I going to use the software from that point forward? Well, the answer in broad strokes is you're going to use it, number one, not primarily, but number one, you're going to use it for training. So that can be new employee training when an employee is brand new, or it could be ongoing training. Good managers continue to train, and they don't train just by firefighting. A bad management, I was going to say bad manager, but I'll keep it less personal. Bad management is management by firefighting or management by walking around. I also think that that's bad management. Management by firefighting is waiting till there's a problem, and then you jump in as the manager and you try to fix it. And 9 times out of 10, when the fire's burning, like, you're just going to put it out. Like, you don't have time to really think about it. Just put it out, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. Well, I think it was Henry Ford who said the best time to fix the roof is when it's sunny outside. That's it. Not when it's raining, right? Because there's a hole in the roof. Then that's the worst time to try and fix it. So same is true for management. So new employee training and ongoing training. So I'm going to quickly talk about new employee training. We're going to get into all different types of training inside using the control panel next time. So when you have a new employee, I think the manager, first of all, should go in through management review and organize the processes for that person. So you can see here, I've got John and Jack under customer service here. They both fill this role. They both have access to the same processes, every process that's on the customer service job description. But a manager can organize them differently, or Jack and John could organize their own processes in the way that they want to. So I just hired Jack here. So I'm going to go to his processes here. So now I'm looking at his control panel. I'm looking at what he sees when he logs into TouchStone. So the processes are just in this big long list. When you hire a new employee, you go to account administration, you set them up, you decide what level of access they're going to have. I think it's probably highly unusual that you would hire a new employee and give them create access. It's probably not the case. It could happen if it's a higher level position or you hired them to document processes for you, but typically you would give them read-only access to their position. And then when the manager goes and looks at this through management review, which we're in now, they're just going to see it as a big long list here. So the first thing I do is organize these processes, and I would organize them into how they're going to be trained to him. So in a control panel, normally on a day-to-day basis, the processes could be organized by categories, by timing, by subject. But for new employee training, organize them by the training weeks or the time you're going to spend to train, the training calendar. So first ask yourself, how long should it take a competent customer service person to learn all these processes? Let's say it's 4 weeks, just to keep it simple. So I'd go here to create group. You can just put week 1 like that, and then save it, and then put the processes that you want to train into week 1 in there. Or I think a better way is to kind of arrange it by subject area to a certain degree, or by type of process. So let's do week 1. Let's call this time planning or time management. So this is all the processes related to him planning his time. So then I'm going to save that. So now I got this group down here called week 1 time planning. So then I would go in and say, okay, what is time related? So here's daily planning. I'm just going to drag that under week 1. Time logs, that's related to time management. Clocking hours, that sounds time related. Then think, okay, what's the next week? What's going to happen in the next week? So then we call this week 2. And then maybe it's customer service processes. And then I save it. And then maybe we say create group, week 3 is going to be admin. So all the admin work, and then we save it. So as best you can, think of categories. If you're struggling to do that, just do week 1, 2, and 3, and then just put them into some amount of organization that you think makes sense. So the customer service processes, that's going to be like the customer complaints, customer satisfaction, maybe productivity reporting, admin, or like meetings. So think of these categories and then put them into the training weeks. Let's do one more just to make it look good. Week 4. And this is going to be, you can even do like miscellaneous or on demand. I like this term. On demand processes means things you do when I tell you to, or every so often. It's not part of like what you do every day. So like maybe safety is like on demand. Let's put this down here. Quality control, maybe that's on demand. Inspection reports, and maybe that's admin. Industry standards and compliance, that's like on demand, only when you need it. So now I've just organized all these processes. When you refresh the screen, the default list is now going to go away, that header. And so now we're left with these 4 weeks. So I'm setting up Jack's training, and this is what it looks like. Then what Jack does, I sit down with him. He's gone through onboarding, hopefully. And he's gone through his HR paperwork kind of stuff and his introduction to the company and all that good stuff in employee onboarding. And then the manager sits down with him and helps him log into TouchStone. And so this is what that looks like. So I'm pulling over a screen where we're logged in as Jack. Welcome to TouchStone. This is your training, Jack. Click your control panel there. And now, because the manager went in and built all these great groups here and organized it, this is what he sees when he logs in. And you're going to say to Jack, this is what you're going to learn in week 1. This is in week 2. This is 3 and 4. Hopefully in 4 weeks, you're going to be fully trained. This is how it's going to go. You're going to click the process in TouchStone. You're going to read it. You're going to watch the videos. You're going to study it. Then we're going to sit and discuss it. I want you to spend 1 day on this. At the end of the day, we're going to sit and talk about it. During that day, I'm going to come to you and give you demonstrations, or I'm going to have you watch someone else do it. So you think about, as the manager, you think about these different processes and what's the best way for him to learn them. Oftentimes, or sometimes in straightforward positions, Jack could just read this process on daily planning. He could go to the work plan here, read through it. Seems pretty simple. I could tell him to study it for a while and then fill out some time logs just as practice. So as he's going through with this, he watches the tutorials, he thinks about it, then he could make a note to me that he's done with that. And done is good, finished is good. Look at this, whatever word you want to use in the save as. Why you put something in this, have him put something in the save as is just a note to the manager that Jack's done this work or is ready for me to talk to him about it. All the documents, same thing. You go through, practice doing time logs, maybe save a few, then write done in every single one. So Jack goes through with these processes and does the work in the way that has been laid out. Sometimes in straightforward positions, this is really fast. Other times it takes longer. It could take days of practicing and studying and watching for someone to really understand and learn that process. So I'm going to move this over here and refresh here. So again, if I just start back on my dashboard here, so this is Jack again. So if I go, he's been in TouchStone doing things, studying, reading. I could go up here, go to management reports and run a report to see what he's done. And I'm just going to put today's date in. It's actually the 17th. And I can choose by user here. And I'm just going to hit run report. And then I can literally see, what he's done here and the date and time he did it. So when I review that at the end of the day and I feel like he's good to go, maybe he's taken a test, I feel he's good with this process, I go to him in customer service here. I choose, so I'm in management review right now as the manager. I choose daily planning. I tick off this box that says, yep, he's been trained in that. He's good to go. And then these little green check marks appear for him and for me. And then he goes on to clocking hours next. I could even drag this to the bottom. And now he's doing this next. So this is just a quick and dirty way to, and again, we'll talk more details about this next week, but this is just a way to do new employee training. You can't have a process for absolutely everything. You can't have a process that definitely trains a person in how to do everything just with a work plan. So if you're going, yeah, but in your head, that's all true. But could you do it for 80%? Could you do it for 50% of what your employees do? What if you could? Wouldn't that be so much better than nothing? So I believe the majority of things can be systematized. There could be a process around it. And I've seen thousands and thousands of processes. But for you who think that, well, it can't all be done, you're right. Maybe it can't all be done. But what I'm describing is a fabulous way to bring a new employee into your company, to sit with someone like Jack and be like, look at this, like this is your training. This is everything you're going to learn. It's all written out here. Is it perfect? No, but look how great it is. This is going to be the best training that Jack has ever seen in his life. He's going to praise your company. This is a game worth playing here. So I encourage people to use TouchStone in this fashion.